Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Prabha Foundation and Westland folks, I, Neelima Dalmia Adhar, Honorary Convenor of the Prabha Foundation for Delhi and NCR, am delighted to welcome you to the Right Circle, an event that celebrates the beauty and power of the written word. A very warm welcome to our distinguished author Mazhar Farooqui, also known as Maz, who is a multiple award-winning, Dubai-based, most fearless investigative journalist and storyteller. Maz has faced a number of fearsome death threats, and he continues to battle dozens of legal cases as a matter of routine. His book, The Maz Files, that we launched today, is as riveting, as intriguing, and as electrifying as any crime thriller that you might have ever read. Ladies and gentlemen, the cover of Mazhar's book has an enticing Sherlock Holmesy, James Bondsy image of our handsome, and he objected to be called Guru Dutt because he says he's too old, but he also has a very strong resemblance to Guru Dutt, I will insist. A handsome and gritty author. Casting directors, please note. This book is published by my own publishers, Westland, and true to form, they have done a splendid job. Let's give our publishers who are present today, Kartika and Amrita, a loud round of applause, the echoes of which should reach the bosses in Chennai. One more round for them, please. The Maz Files has a compelling tagline on the back cover that reads, and I quote, "If someone were to suddenly bump me off, it would be difficult to determine who it was, which is slightly disturbing." Close quote. Slightly disturbing, Maz? Mossy, like seriously terrifying, I swear. I read some of your pieces in the book, and I cannot tell you, it's adrenaline racing to another level. A slow roast crime thriller like we all watch on TV, except this is all real. This is not fiction. Maz, who is currently the senior editor of the Khalij Times, has worked for publications such as the Gulf News, the Times of India, the Hindustan Times, and the Pioneer, among others. Not surprisingly, he is a recipient of numerous national and international awards for his keenly insightful investigative work. He is also the founder and president of the Ehsaas Foundation, an educational charity organization based in India. And can we have a huge round of applause for our resident James Bond, who inarguably and unmistakably looks the part. And just in case you missed it, ladies and gentlemen, I have also made an earnest effort to look like Lady Sherlock. Thank you. Majaz, please take the chair. But you know why I say Majaz. Now please correct me. There's been a morning confusion in my head, ladies and gentlemen. I have to apologize. Majaz is one of my favorite, most iconic poets. And ever since I've read his pieces and I've met him, there's a kind of fluidity in those two personalities. Because even though he does hardcore crime thrillers, he has the romantic, easygoing, heroic face of a poet. Now for that you can excuse me and give me a big hand. I told you I was going to mix that up. In conversation with Maz is another shining star, the eminent journalist, author and film critic Kaveree Bamzai. Kaveree is widely known for having held the stellar distinction of being the only woman editor of the prestigious India Today magazine for a period of over 3 years. In her glorious career as a journalist, she has also worked with the Times of India and the Indian Express. Kaveree has authored 2 books titled No Regrets and The Three Khans. You know which 3 I'm talking about. And a new one, I'm told, is in the oven. A very warm welcome to you, Kaveree. Would you like to come and take the stage? This event is being held in association with our media partner Dainik Jagran and the support of the Ehsaas Women of Delhi, and we can give them a big hand. Before we begin this conversation, which promises to keep you spellbound and at the edge of your seats, allow me to introduce Prabha Khaitan Foundation. Prabha Khaitan Foundation is a Kolkata-based NGO dedicated to socio-cultural welfare humanitarian causes. Based in Kolkata, the foundation is dedicated to promoting performing arts, culture, education, literature, gender equality, and women's empowerment. We collaborate with committed individuals and like-minded institutions to implement cultural, educational, literary, and social welfare projects across the country. We are currently present in over 50 cities in India and overseas. And to create a greater awareness in the community, we adopt one pressing social cause every month. In this endeavor, we are deeply honored that the 3-time Grammy Award winner, the maestro Ricky Cage, has collaborated with us. The Grand Maestro, who has composed our anthem and signature caller tune, is a close supporter. It doesn't end there. Ricky Cage has also curated for us 12 amazing musical pieces that we use for the video invites of our events and on all our social media platforms and overseas communications. The music of the month for September is The Magic of Today. The music of the month for September is titled The Magic of Today is the Science of Tomorrow, a musical piece that reminds us never to lose our childlike fascination, to learn, and to never stop believing in miracles. So, ladies and gentlemen, brace yourself for a scintillating discussion between these 2 stars. And over to you, Kaveree.
Thank you so much, and it's lovely to see so many familiar faces. Thank you so much for being in conversation with me. I'm going to call you Maz, it's easier. First of all, I agree totally with whatever Neelima said. There's so many potential true crime documentaries that can be made from some of the characters you've written about. So it's really a problem of plenty. But I really want to ask you, what is it about Dubai that attracts so many fraudsters, conmen, charlatans, fakes? I mean, every possible fraud that you can imagine.
Well, on the contrary,
that's not you, though. The others, the people you've written about.
See, Dubai, on the contrary, is the safest city in the world. So is Ajman and Abu Dhabi. But as any other city, even when you attract a lot of people, just this year about 4,000 millions are moving to Dubai from India.
4,000?
4,900 to be exact. So, as any other city, it attracts investors, people looking for property, movie artists. We have at least 6 to 7 big stars moving to Dubai. So, of course, like we also attract scammers and conmen. But I'm there to take care of them. So, yeah.
Sometimes the earlier people you mentioned, the millionaires and the movie actors, are coincidentally also the scamsters and the fraudsters, or are they 2 mutually exclusive clubs?
Well, there have been instances of movie directors coming to Dubai, setting up a set and seeking investors and then disappearing. I won't mention the names, but there have been a couple of big directors who have done this. They have moved in a hotel with big stars, got people to invest money, and they disappeared. I know at least 2 very big directors who are facing charges in Dubai on the same count.
Right.
Yeah, okay, like this.
Yeah, perhaps the volume is a problem. But have these people gone back to Mumbai, or have they just disappeared off the face of the earth like a lot of people you've mentioned?
So some of them have moved back to Mumbai. I mean, in fact, one of the guys who's a big director, he was contesting election from down south, and he's wanted. There's a case against him in Sharjah.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful. So they can be, mutually coincidental as well. So tell me, you began in Lucknow and you write very evocatively of that time of the 90s, and a lot of things happened, a lot of things changed in India. Was that what prompted you to move to Dubai, or was that period something that was that period something that you really wanted to keep to put behind you? What was the reason?
Not necessarily. In fact, I was doing very well. When you are in a city like Lucknow, when you work with Times of India, everybody knows you. I was very content with life.
Yeah.
I was very happy with working as a newspaper journalist in Lucknow. Then I got a call from Gulf News. There's an opportunity in Dubai where to come. So let's give it a shot. So the idea was to go to Dubai and spend like 1 year or 2 years, make some money and come back. But now Dubai is home. When I go to India, I miss Dubai.
Right.
So,
But talk a little about the time that you were a reporter and a journalist in Lucknow, a very transformative time for India as well as for you. And a lot of things were happening there, including in journalism. Some fantastic characters you've written about, like Vicky Bhargav. I had no idea that such a man existed, and seems to have been a very flamboyant publisher. Also of an adult magazine, so that must have been a little exciting, I think.
yeah, it was. In fact,
Working for that.
we have one of our colleagues, Mukesh Jha from those days back there, and then Subhash Gautam.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, we
Must have been quite exciting to work on an adult magazine.
it was. In fact, we gave Devanir run for the money. Devanir almost shut down because of these two magazines. They were hugely popular and they did a lot of money. And then we got a newspaper called.
Especially when he's talking about adult magazine.
Yeah.
Tab to aapko zarur pata
So then we
hai.
launched a newspaper called Newslead in Allahabad, which did fairly well. And then I moved to, I think, Pioneer, and then the Hindustan Times for some time, then finally with Times of India, before I joined Gulf News in Dubai.
Right. And again, you talk about the changes in journalism, how you first began writing on writing in pen and ink and then typewriter, and talk a little about that
I
as
think
well.
that same goes for everybody, like even for you, because we started with typewriters and then we came the time
I
when we
didn't even know what a computer was.
I remember when we moved to a newspaper called Lucknow Times, we used to leave the shoes outside because it's a computer room. So So things have changed now. Now we have to contend with something like AI. So we have seen everything from typewriters to desktop to laptop to Twitter to even YouTube. So we are the only
Analog generation.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then seen digital as well. But the characters you've met along the way, they're so fantastic that sometimes it's difficult to believe that they were real. But some of my favorite stories are you encountering Michael Jackson wearing an abaya in the women's loo of, I mean, it can only happen in real life. It cannot happen in fiction.
Yeah,
Talk a bit about...
Yeah, that was, we had moved from Lucknow to Dubai, and I just got my business cards, and we were going to a mall called Ibn Battuta, and we were mostly like tourists, so me and my wife and my 2 kids were young that time. So we saw a commotion, we saw a woman running, and another woman chasing her, which was quite surreal. So, and then this woman fell and another woman pounced on her, so I physically separated them. So the other woman said, this woman there's a man inside the abaya, and she was in the woman's loo applying lipstick. How can that be possible? So I go up to this guy and said, this woman is saying that you are a man. And he's in an abaya with the wheel and wearing gloves. And she says in a man's voice, yeah, I can go wherever I want to. And I said, dude, this is Dubai. You can't be going to a woman's washroom in an abaya and you'll be in trouble. And he was so what? I mean, I can go. He didn't say that. So I was very intrigued. In the meantime, this woman who was chasing her, she was from Tunisia. So she attacked her again and there was a bit of a scuffle. I had to separate them physically. So in the meantime, the security guys came and they took this guy and took him to a bookstore called Nandini. So I thought that if they catch someone in a abaya in Dubai, he will be taken to the cleaners. But he was very arrogant. He put his shoes on a table and he got a special phone. So I go up to him and said, look, my name is Mazhar Farooqui, I'm from Gulf News, I just got my business card. I need to know what is happening. And he says, I'm a wrong man caught in the wrong place, just leave me alone. I said, I don't want the press. I said, the press happens to be here. He said, no, I want to talk to you, just leave me alone. So I called my office, I said, look, there's a situation here, there's a man who's been caught in the wire. And the editor said, okay, sounds very interesting, we'll leave a small single column space, just see what is happening. And this was around about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, in the meantime, I see a lot of security men come and they form a ring around the place. And the head of security comes and so I go up to him and said, what's happening? He says, please go away, we don't want any publicity, just leave us alone. And I said, who is this guy? I said, no, we don't want the press, please go away. I was ignorant. Then suddenly I see about 60 policemen in this yellow uniform. They form a massive ring around the whole place. Now I'm very intrigued, like this guy is someone big. He could be either a film star or some son of some big shape, someone. So I asked the security guard, who is this guy? Like, why is he here? In the meantime, my cousin who had dropped us getting out of a car, he also comes and he's also very intrigued. And the security guard says, भैया पता नहीं कुछ जैकेशन बता रहा है अपने आप को. कौन जैकेशन? कहने कोई माइकल जैकेशन बता रहा है. मैं माइकल जैक्सन? बोला I think हाँ यही नाम है. So I go up to him and said, hello Michael, and he takes out his wheel and said, does it make you happy? Now fuck off from here. So imagine I've got Michael Jackson sitting in front of me. So I call up and said, stop press, we have got Michael Jackson here. But Michael Jackson would have seen me bothering him all the time. So he calls the cop and would have pointed at me. So saw this guy is bothering me. And suddenly all the policemen came and they took me to a room. I said, why? He was caught in the woman's room, not me. So they took me in the room, they take my phone. Where is your pataka? We used to have this ID call to take our, and my cousin was also there, they also detained him. And my family is cousin saying, kya ho gaya, abba ko police le gayi. And then they tell me that Michael Jackson is a friend of some case. And if you write one word about him, your life will be in trouble. You will make your life miserable. So they take out a bunch of papers and made me sign something. Now what can you do?
Exactly. Dubai policemen are very intimidating.
Well, not really. I would say.
I don't know. They all seem like 7 feet tall.
No. In fact, I find Indian policemen more intimidating. Dubai, they keep your eyes they don't make eye contact with you. They're very friendly, in fact. But this was strict order. So they take me around and they take me sign. I don't know how many pages, and they take me and they take my picture with a phone, with a big camera. And then they say and in the meantime my phone is ringing because I give office a big scoop.
Right.
I said, bhai photo wapas kar do. No, you will not get the phone. So after about around 2 hours, they give the phone back to me, and I select 17 missed calls because the photographer is running around seeing where Michael Jackson is. So I get the phone back and I call back. Hey, you asked me to stop the press and we are waiting for you. Okay, I'm coming. So I go to the office, the family sits in the canteen, and then I go to the editor and said, bhai, unhone kaha hai ki they'll make your life miserable. But don't worry, start writing a story. So I wrote a story around midnight, Michael Jackson caught in the women's room. And as I step out of the place, and my cousin saying, "Arey, hum log to deport ho jayenge, our life is finished." So as soon as I get out into the car, I get a call from the police. Mazhar Farooqui, I said, yes. Your passport number M7, who remembers the passport number? And he say it could be this. Then they says, okay, we're making inquiries. Don't worry, everything is fine. So somehow we used to live in Sharjah those days. So I see Sharjah and wondering then I get a call from the police station saying, come to police station immediately. I said, I don't have a car, I cannot come. No, you come, we are sending someone. So what do we do? So we spent that night in a cousin's house. We didn't, because we were scared. And this cousin of mine said, अब तो सब पुलिस आ जाएगी, सब arrest हो जाएंगे, खत्म सब हो जाएगा. And then of course the next morning all hell broke loose because we broke that story. And Michael Jackson they gave a statement which was quite dumb. They said Michael Jackson could not read, he went to the women's washroom because the sign was confusing. The sign which is stupid because a Abhay could have only gone to a women's washroom, he could have gone to a men's washroom. So much later after Michael Jackson died, there was a television crew from I think Holland or somewhere, they wanted to recreate the whole scene. They had a Michael Jackson look alike and they wanted me to run around him, and I said I cannot do this. So, yeah, I remember that story. It's fun.
And you were introduced somewhere as a man who saw Michael Jackson punching a woman, right?
No, so that story has gone into so many variations.
Right.
So I remember I was at an event and my cousin said, like, this is Mazhar, he punched Michael Jackson. I'm not, yeah, I'm not punched Michael Jackson. So it was like, but that was
It's become an urban legend.
Yeah, yeah.
The other favorite story of mine is when Salman Khan comes to Dubai and is made the ambassador for safe driving school. I mean, that is the biggest of ironies, but I'll let him tell the story.
Yeah, so there was a time when Salman Khan was not doing well for us. I think after Wanted, he had a bit of a bad. Yeah. So he used to do these small events, inaugurating like shoe stores, and so there was a driving school called Belhassa. So he was invited there as a driving ambassador of Belhassa. He used to inaugurate this driving school. So there was a small press conference. I remember sitting behind him. So I said, Salman bhai, even very strange. You and driving don't go quite hand in hand. He said, no, don't ask me any questions, So, but I did ask that question, and he was very annoyed. So he published a story saying, actor who ran over 5 inaugurates driving school. And Salman Khan got so upset that he wanted me to come and apologize because he had a performance that day. He said he was not going to perform, and of course he wouldn't apologize to Salman Khan. So, yeah, this was quite.
I mean, how do you pay your legal bills? I want to know. How many cases do you have against you right now?
So right now, there was one in Delhi filed by a journalist. I don't know why. Now there's one in Bangalore and one in UK. But in Dubai, there were about 35, 31, all of them. Yeah. And I don't know how many legal notices, lost count. Because what happens in the UAE is that even if you prove the guy is a thug, he can still sue you. So which is quite challenging.
Who pays these bills? I hope your employers.
I mean, they do, but now the reputation that I've got is such that even if I come with a story, say, no, stay away. So that is quite.
Yeah, we're laughing about it, but it's tough, isn't it? Journalism has become tough, and telling the truth has become even tougher.
Yeah, especially in that part of the country, it is difficult. I'm glad
even
I know.
Here, I think it's not that easy.
Yeah, it is absolutely. And I think the first time when I went to court, it was difficult. But it's very hard for the family. I remember the night I spent in jail, my wife and my father slept on the floor. So that was sad, and I do feel bad about them. There was a time when there was a massive propaganda against me, and like on social media they went absolutely bonkers, saying that this guy is a terrorist and arrest him, all of that.
Talk a little about that incident.
Well, so what happened was that during the COVID times, a lot of people got arrested because of their stupid posts. Like, so there was a guy who applied for a job in Dubai. His name was Amjad Abdullah. So when he applied for a job, the CEO of the company wrote back to him in Dubai saying, "Why do you need a job? Go to Shaheen Bagh, you'll get free biryani and 1,000 rupees." But you cannot do this in Dubai. You cannot write an email to a candidate saying, "Go to Shaheen Bagh, you'll get free biryani." Yeah, so that was a story for me. So I wrote a story and the guy got suspended. Around the same time, somebody else got arrested for something else. There was a lawyer based in Dubai, based in Delhi, I forgot the name. So she was being threatened by a chef there. And she wrote to us saying this guy is threatening us. So we found out who it was and she got arrested. So there were like a couple of such stories that we wrote about. Now there's a publication based from India, run by the right wing. So they put up an article saying Mazhar Farooqui is getting our Hindu brothers arrested and possibly also executed, which is like, I mean, it was like laughable. And then all hell broke loose. So there was a massive propaganda unleashed against me. So calling me all kind of things. The father's address was, phone number was leaked on social media. My daughter was in Bombay those days. So they said there was post verified accounts followed by our top leaders saying, Anish ready for a small operation, this is his daughter's address, go after him. and then they tried to brand me some kind of terrorist. I remember Bipin Rawat gave me some awards here in Delhi, in Taj. So pictures were taken of that and said, look, this is ISI agent with Bipin Rawat. So which was quite, and then the lights not working. So what they did was, because I had gone to Taiwan for an event, so there's a picture of me standing near a bus which says Taiwan. So they made Taiwan read as Tehran and put a picture on social media saying Mazhar Farooqui Qasim Soleimani's agent in. Now Iran is a very tricky subject for UAE, and then all hell broke loose. I was called by authorities to check, what is this? I said, Baba, this is not Tehran, this is Taiwan. So the kind of, I mean, they stoop to do something like this was quite challenging.
Challenging is an understatement. How do you deal with that level of toxicity, which is not just virtual, it becomes physical and real?
See, we are journalists, we don't have any agenda, as anyone would agree. We don't have any, we just do a story. And we don't dox people, just report what is in the public domain. There are more Christians and Muslims behind bars on a story than any other nationality. But to say that, okay, I am going after a particular community, that was quite sad. And okay, I can deal with all of these things, but if they, talk about the family, behead his daughters, that kind of thing, that was not good. It went on for months. The didn't stop in one day. So I was called by authorities and said, what are you doing about it? I said, what do I do about it? How do I even stop this? So I'm very careful with what I post, because I think it's a sad reality, but if you have a Muslim name as a journalist and you are on then you are in trouble. So,
have you seen that becoming worse in the last 10 years?
See, I wouldn't know because I don't live here. I live in Dubai. I'm far removed from politics. We don't report about, but I know what is happening. I'm aware of what is happening. I know the Goji media and all that. But still to be targeted for something which is not even my thing. I mean, I just wrote a couple of stories based on, and then to be targeted and people asking to kill my daughters. The truth is still out there. And I had to fly my daughter from India. She was in Bombay this year.
Fly her back to Dubai.
What do you do?
You can't leave her exposed like that.
Because I know there could be some lunatic who can do something, and then we can, regret and repent. So I didn't want that.
So, that is the reality of journalism and truth-telling today in India, and in, of course, many parts of the world as well, but of course in India as well. So I wonder, do you think that the kind of career you had in Dubai, would you have been able to pursue that in India?
I would have said this maybe 15 years ago, but now when I see the state of journalism in India, bearing a few publications, I don't see anyone doing what they should be doing. Just a handful of publications are doing something. Also because of other compulsions, because advertising compulsions are there. Also newspaper industry is also thinking we don't have the time for journalists to pursue a story. So that is, I think, widespread, not just in India.
Yeah.
So even in Dubai, it's not easy to do what we do. The newspapers are not the same that they were back then. I mean, I'm doing COVID tallies, also doing investigative stories, also doing weather reports. So it is not that I have the luxury to do a story for months. It's not like that.
So, in fact, when you talked about going to Dubai the first time, you talked about, Khalid's times weighing like 2 kilos.
Yeah, I mean, those were the days when we had the newspapers used to be like 400 pages every single day. It was unbelievable. The newspapers used to have classified section 104 pages, 16 pages of business. The entire newspaper is 16 pages. So the revenue has shrunk massively. And I don't know how they are managing digitally. I have no clue. But newspapers are backed by big business houses, like Khalid is backed by the Kaveree Group, Gulf is backed by Altair. On their own, they wouldn't make so much money as I thought they should be making.
So what does a journalist like you do in such a situation? And it's not particular to you, but a journalist who wants to tell the story, wants to tell the truth. What does he or she do?
See, I think the attention span of people has gone down. They're mostly like when you do a story and we invest so much time in it, and when you see the on chart beats, you would know how it is. So we see 30 seconds, 20 seconds, and now everything is linked to page views, which is the very flawed logic. Because if I do a story, it will get X number of views. But if I take a picture of two cats fighting outside, it will get far more views. Does it make a better story? No. But now that because everything is linked to number of page views and the hits, that is how they measure a good story and a bad story. Yeah.
So that's the metrics of it. But what does a journalist do given that all this is happening? What does he or she do in such a situation? There are options. You can start your own YouTube channel. You can, build that. But everything is so challenging now. So what would you recommend to someone maybe who is starting out now and thinks journalism is dead?
I would say find another career. I mean, it's not, when they call me journalist, I said please, still this time, find something else. Because as an industry, it is not, you need to ease the job. You cannot be paid more than what someone in the oil and gas industry will be paid or a banker will be paid. So as an industry, it is not the same, I think.
If you're looking for money, of course, I don't think journalism...
Even for respect and even for, recognition, it is not the same. Unless you are, how many Ravish Kumar and Anirudh Behls are there? Just a few. So it is not the same.
And we all know what someone like Anirudh has had to go through for his sting operations and been called all sorts of names, just like you.
Yeah.
I think, but that's one of the great things about journalism, being an equal opportunity offender. That really is the hallmark of a good journalist, right? You manage to piss off somebody somewhere across the spectrum of politics.
Yeah. See, in the UAE, because there's nobody else doing this, so I am the only one who's doing it, so they know, okay, this is the person to go to. So yeah. So my office looks like a doctor's clinic, we have people waiting outside, scam, victims and all this. So the only people I have in a phone book are victims. And the numbers are so high that on Eid we had some guests at my place and my daughter saying, Abba, are these victims or guests? Because only people I interact with are victims. And it is sad because they don't have anyone to turn to. And
what has been the most impactful story you feel you've done? Because there have been so many that you've listed.
Yeah, so I'll talk about one that got published recently. It didn't see the light of day in the newspaper because of various reasons. But that story is so big that I should be getting an award by the government here. I'll tell you why. So what is happening is that unable to find jobs in India, 20,000 Indian youths, they sold their land and they took bank loans and they moved to the UAE in recent years. And there they joined Chinese criminal syndicates and they became enslaved as cyber slaves and they're carrying out massive cyber. So all these crimes all these messages that you get on the phone, cyber crimes, they're largely being carried out from Dubai.
That I'm the Prince of Nigeria, I need your money, that kind of thing.
Those are old fashioned. So what the Chinese have done is they have they're so good at what they do, So they are buying data from around the world. When they're buying data, they're harvesting the data. They have a whole team that is going through the data and saying, okay, if I need to send a message to Manjari, what should be what they should be writing? They have Manjari's whole profile. If they're sending a message to Fauzan, they know what they will write. So this team is going through the data, and then they will approach individuals. So there are many layers of scam, like phishing scam, digital arrest, ransomware. There's a whole new world there. So what they do is that they're hiring Indians, they're putting them in fortified buildings, and they're making them carry out crimes around the world. So imagine 20,000 Indians working for Chinese, reporting to Pakistani handlers, and carrying out crimes in India. at a scale that you can imagine. So they were making like each center was making $1 million every single day, and you have to stand up and clap when you clock their target. So I got this lead. This is very recently, in early January. We found out that there's a place where some women are trapped, about 70 of them, and they are given a target to scam 12 individuals every day. And then started working on it. I spoke to the Indian consulate, and they said, okay, we'll try to rescue them. But when we started looking into it, we found out that there's not 70 or 800 or 900. There are 20,000 people who are doing this across the UAE. So they were doing it from Cambodia initially and Myanmar, but there was a crackdown there, so they all moved their operations to the UAE. So, and these criminals had various categories, like developers, killers. Killers used to be carrying out pig butchering scam, which then they had people carrying out digital arrests. So they used to call people saying that they are from the CBI. They used to put people on video conference, and they even have like mock stage which said CBI at the backdrop, and they were doing it. So when
what, that you're about to be arrested?
Yeah.
You should pay up.
Yeah. So as I said, there are multiple.
Basically, there are multiple Sukesh Chandrasekhar.
Yeah. So the money was being transferred to, I believe there's some kind of government scheme where you can deposit money into the account of farmers and poor people unaccounted. So those accounts are being used to transfer the money. It was a huge racket. Even now we are trying to look into it. It had multiple layers. For instance, many Indians want to go to Canada for a better living. So these agents, recruitment agents, used to target them. Say, okay, we're going to take you to Canada. You have to pay 10 lakh rupees upfront as the fees. Then they used to have these 50 or 100 young men, boys from Gurgaon and Haryana and most of these places. We'll pay you back 10 lakh rupees in over 1 year. But you cannot go to Canada from India because you don't cut the mustard. So you have to go to Dubai for 1 year. We'll make up your books and then you can go to Canada. All of these men and women, there are hundreds of them, they fly to Dubai where they work for these Chinese cyber syndicates. And these young boys have no morals. I spoke to hundreds of them. They said, "Bhaiya, ye kaam hai. This is just a work." They're carrying out scams in India. And I asked them, like, how do you sleep with it? Like, they said, yeah, it's very difficult because one guy I spoke to, he said, yesterday we scammed this family out of I don't know how many millions, and they killed themselves. They posted a video on Telegram hanging themselves, and they showed videos of people cutting their wrists and stuff. So every day I used to get a list of 100 people that they used to scam the following morning. So I had to live with the knowledge. It was very difficult. So I spent 3 months looking into the scam, and we had I will not want this part to be recorded or to be aired, but I can tell you what happened. So I struck a deal with the authorities. I said, okay, there are 3 ways. Either I do the story and embarrass all of you, or I give all the information to you, you do the crackdown, or I go to the Chinese and say, look, you guys are making $100 million every day, give you $5 billion, and also live in the Palm Jumeirah, and so it's okay, we will do something. So we had an arrangement with them. But when they look at the scale of the scam, they said, this is something huge. They cannot handle it on their own. The military got involved. On the 26th of June, the UAE military launched multiple raids across the UAE and arrested thousands of people. And all these Indians that were arrested, they have been deported. The story did not appear anywhere. So I kind of not only dismantled the whole operation, because the police wouldn't believe it. So I had to go out and make videos and tell them in a coherent manner what is happening, who is doing it, how it is being done. So we went to multiple buildings. I took my wife to a few, and it was.
As what? Obviously not as
so in one particular case, there was a girl from Lucknow. So she was trapped in the building, and they cannot get out of the building. They can only get out if they scam 12 people. Then they get an outpass to get out.
Otherwise, they have to stay there.
Yeah, so 20 days there, they cannot step out. So one night, I used to hang around the building every day, hoping that she achieves the target so they can. Yeah. So one night she said, "I've achieved 10, and you can get 2 more by the evening." So it was first of Ramadan. Wife went there, and we got this girl out, and she gave her an out pass. So I have about 40 hours of raw footage, which one of the actors is interested in a like a web series. He called me a couple of times.
Who's this?
Sonu Sood.
Oh.
So he said he wants to do a movie on it. Now the thing is that to dismantle this network, of course it's still happening, but we took all of them down in one night.
I think we can applaud that. Well done.
Yeah. But the story
That's why it's great to be a journalist, right?
But the story did not appear the way we wanted it to, because in Dubai said they cannot mention China, cannot mention Pakistan, cannot mention India. So we said crack down on, but we mentioned that story in the book.
Right.
It is there.
But tell me, how does a Pakistani handler come in? I mean, the Chinese are harvesting the data. What is the Pakistani handler?
So they are, so for some strange reasons, they have recruiters, people who arrange for the logistics, and they're developers. So they are all Pakistanis. So they are good in certain things. Yeah. So it is sad. I mean, I met these young boys and said that they wanted to join the army to fight against China, and now they're working for China and cheating their own people. And not just, imagine 20,000 people carrying out scams 24/7. I've spoken to professors and teachers and doctors who have lost like 80 lakh rupees in one night. So
sometimes all this knowledge, as you said, can be very difficult to live with.
It is.
Right?
In fact, when the raid happened, 2 individuals jumped from the roof and died. So I thought I had blood on my hand. I couldn't sleep that night. This was just a few months back, maybe 2 months back. Yeah.
Was there any con man or con woman whom you found quite interesting actually? And you actually thought, hey, that's actually quite fun. I mean, this is not fun, but...
Yeah, there are so many. In fact, I mean, the more I meet and interact with these con women, the more I marvel at their ingenuity. And they're so good at what they do. I mean, one woman I remember, her name was Jill Wallace Hope. So she was wanted. Yeah, she was wanted in 3 countries. Wanted in America, wanted in UK, and she had somehow reinvented herself as a champion of hope. And she had a profile which made her appear as she's the advisor of Obama. Pictures with all the big celebrities, great credentials, and I was impressed. But I got tip-off saying that she is a wanted criminal on the run. Now, if you are white skin in your 50s and you can throw some words around, you can go a long way, anywhere. In Dubai, probably more. So somehow she convinced authorities that she had some initiative. And if you drop in some jargons, you are good. And she had an initiative called Sula, which I don't know what it means. But the way she used to speak, $1 trillion economy and God knows what, and injecting I don't know what at the street level. So I got a tip-off and I said, okay, let's go and meet her.
Who was the tip-off from? What was the tip-off?
Tip-off was saying that this woman that you think, so at one time, not just government authorities, but all of the big companies were collaborating with her, because they thought that she was some big, and she had a profile, and she used to talk and deliver lectures, and she used to drive around, credentials, interview with Oprah Winfrey, but they were never on the same frame. It was like somehow edited and yeah, and she was very good, and she had a whole team doing it. I met those guys as well. They were not paid as well. So when I went to meet this, I said, okay, if I call her and say, my name is Mazhar Farooqui, she'll be scared. So I got someone else to call her, and then I went to see her. And it was Ramadan, I remember, and she said, okay, give me like 2 hours, I need to do my hair and makeup and all of that. So she came in a Rolls Royce with 2 people carrying a bag, and she took her to her office, and I said, oh my God, this is like a massive penthouse office with overlooking the sea. And started speaking, and I'm thinking, whether is she actually a con woman, or is she?
Yes.
Yeah, because she was so impressive, names dropping, and of course you found out who she is. We ran a story, Queen of Con exposed, with a picture that she had, with her hair do. Yeah. and she got so bad at me, she went on Twitter and said, Mazhar Farooqui is a economic terrorist wanted by Interpol, I don't know what. And those days I was almost at the verge of moving another job with another shipper, and there was someone who was doing my due diligence. They found that tweet and said, no, yes. Imagine, I didn't get it. So she was arrested and deported eventually. But she was very good.
What, when you meet somebody, what tips you off that there's something not right about him or her?
I think nothing has absolute gut feeling. You get it. I mean, you cannot describe it in words, but you get it sometimes. And most of the time, you're right.
What are the attributes to be a great con person? I'd love to know. Maybe I can reinvent myself in Dubai.
I think you can just drop some names and jargons and dress up well, and you're fine. Like nowadays, the buzzword is sustainability and
right. Climate change.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So pretend to be a sustainability activist.
Yeah.
Has that happened?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you done a story like that?
I mean, this woman herself, she had some green pressure cooker that she had invented, and no one ever saw it, but people thought it was a big deal. So.
What is a green pressure cooker?
No one knows what it is.
No one knows. And no one bothered to find out.
So nowadays, I think the biggest crime is happening around the cyberspace, like cryptocurrency, blockchain. No one knows anything about it.
Yeah, no one even understands.
No one understands. But if you have it's a simple playbook. Host a party, get some B-grade, C-grade stars to endorse it.
Indian or foreign?
Anyone.
No, I'm just building my plan.
I mean, one of the guys that he wrote about is Amit Bhardwaj.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, please talk about it.
Yeah, Amit Bhardwaj. So one of the most wanted women in the world is a woman called Ruja Ignatova. She disappeared with $4.5 billion. And no one knows where she is. There's a reward on her. And the whole world is looking for her. And another guy who was in the same league is from Delhi called Amit Bhardwaj. He was a crypto guy. He has more Bitcoin at one time than anybody else in the world. He died, but no one saw his funeral. There are rumors that he could still be alive. We don't know. But there's a lot of money that is still at stake, and no one knows where it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I think we're almost done. But the last question, I think when somebody tells you that they're going to kill you, I mean, it is a scary prospect, right? There's nothing funny about a threat like that. And as you said, behead your daughter and things like that. So what keeps you going? I mean, say even someone like Anirudh has faced that kind of thing, but what keeps you going?
See, Dubai is the safest place in the world. I don't think anyone will do that there. But of course, you have to be cautious and alert. And then I realized, okay, someone has to do the story. And if not me, then there's nobody else to do it. So let me do it. So each time I say, okay, this is the last one. But then when something comes up and then the adrenaline kicks in, then you cannot stop yourself.
And the victim's line in your doctor's clinic keeps growing.
Yeah.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you so much for talking to me. Questions from the audience, please. Please identify yourself. Try and keep the questions short.
One question which intrigues me and is my greatest hope of interest
is tell us about that ghost story that spooked you out.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a vivid story, but it's quite interesting that this movie came out, IC-814, on the Kandahar hijacking. So what happened was that the captain who was there, Captain Devi Sharan Singh, he got the award for bravery by, he was quite brave actually. But somehow he was flying between Dubai and Sharjah, and I don't know which flight he was flying, but for layovers he has to stay in a hotel in Sharjah, and this hotel was called Holiday Inn, and that hotel kind of spooked him out, and he wrote a letter to the government saying this hotel is haunted, and you cannot live in this hotel. So imagine a a pilot who was a hero pilot who was brave was spooked out of his hotel. So I found this letter that he had sent to the ministry. And I said, okay, what do we do with it? Whether we should write a story on it or we should go and stay in the hotel and see what it is like. So I said, okay, let me check it out. So I spoke to the editor, and then those that we had big budget. So I said, okay, I'm going to stay in that hotel and see what it is like. And my wife said, no, you cannot go and read the Quran and take this Quran. I said, Baba, we have to find the ghost, not scare them. So
what all she must have gone through, I don't know. Can we have a round of applause for Eram? She had to face all kinds of madness because of you.
Yeah. So we went and stayed in the hotel, and we couldn't find any ghosts there. It was like a more of fun story saying that Gulf News editor looking for ghosts, and there's a photographer taking pictures of me looking beneath the bed. And we ran a story saying this hotel which scared the hero pilot, Gulf News team went stayed the night there. So we wrote a story on that. Now a few days later, I was flying to India, and there was some flight delay or something. So I was sitting at the airport and I met some pilots. So I said, what happened at this hotel? So how do you know? I said, I wrote the story. Acha, you're Mazhar Farooqui. Okay, you don't believe us? I said, no, I stayed there, nothing happened. Okay. They called the cabin crew. Tell me what happened. And she said, she was in the hotel and she felt someone, pouncing on her chest. Another guy, he said, this happened with me. So all of them did had some, yeah. So I said, okay, but apparently they were on another floor which was haunted. So it could be true actually. So I wrote about that in the book as well. Yeah. Ghost busting in Sharjah.
So, just one last question. Do you believe in ghosts?
I haven't seen one as yet. But my logic is simple. If ghosts are scary, then why don't I see them on Khan Market, or why do they have to come in the middle of some deserted area? So, Guruji.
Yes. Everyone's Guruji. No. My former colleague.
Actually, when I first entered journalism, it was Kaveree who taught me a lot of ropes to it. So, credit to her that I learned a lot on the India Today desk. So my question to Mazhar is that we all think of UAE and Dubai as places which are not open to journalism, which are not open to, free speech in the sense that all of us understand it. But still you have managed to do all these stories living there, and it sort of, at least for me, brings a different perspective to the UAE. So where is this contradiction? How do you place this?
No, it is very difficult. That's true. Every time I write a story, the editor says, okay, we're going to shut down, or you're going to put us in trouble. Now we have the new media laws, which says that anything that portrays UAE in bad light, it's not done. So walking a very thin line. So maybe when I go back and they see this recording and say, okay, welcome to Dubai. Take me to Veer jail, I don't know. So it is quite risky. But as I said, doing investigative journalism in India is like scoring a century on a dead wicket. And doing it in Dubai is like scoring 50 runs on a very difficult batting track. So that is the difference, I would say. It is because...
Is it like a dead wicket, Anirudh, in India?
No. Not a dead wicket, but because...
Yeah, sure. Just let him finish. Please.
Myself, Sharif. I want to know one thing about that you have said is very alarming. Between the togetherness of ISI and Chinese on using a base like Dubai against India and using our kids. It's very dangerous. It's very scary for me. Second question is, tell me about your charitable work about Agaz and what you're doing all these days. And a lighter one. Have you ever met Dawood Ibrahim out there?
See, first of all, this cybercrime, I don't think it is state-sponsored. I don't think whether it is ISI or China government who's doing it. It's just a bunch of criminals who are doing it. Dawood Ibrahim not met. Dawood Ibrahim doesn't live in Dubai. Although when his daughter got married, I got so many phone calls from all the TV channels saying, "Phono kar dijiye, phono kar." Kahan se kar de phono? I don't even know what is happening. The same thing when Sridevi died. Like I got calls from so many channels. I said, Baba, I'm in Jordan. I don't know what is happening there. I said, no, it doesn't matter. We'll just say that you're in Dubai. I said, I cannot do this. I don't know what happened there. So I've not met any of these people. And about my foundation, so in 2004 I set up something called Aghaz Foundation, which is a charity organization which I set up with just a bunch of friends and 100 rupees that we contributed. Today, I would say it is one of the biggest organizations in India. We pay 100,000 rupees worth of fees every single day. So there are hundreds of students who are benefiting from it. We have about 75 scholarships around, and there is not one city, I would say, which doesn't have an Aghaz beneficiary. There are so many of them in Delhi as well. I see Sama sitting here. She is handling Aghaz work here.
Anybody? Some applause for that. Is that it? No? No. Okay. Are we done? As this thrilling evening draws to a close, I thank our distinguished guests, Mazhar Farooqui and Kaveree Bamzai, for this riveting conversation that will surely entice everybody here to read the Maz files. Thank you, Westland Books. You are the best. And thank you, Dainik Jagran, for being our media partner. A huge thank you to all my Ehsaas women. And can I request now Huma Khalil? Just a moment, I've got to tell you who Huma Khalil is. She is a film director, an author. She's a trustee and founder, director of the Rekhta Foundation, which is known world over. She is also an Ehsaas Woman of Delhi. Can I request Huma Khalil to please come forward and felicitate our guests with our precious Ponna dye stoles, which means a precious golden cloth, a traditional silk stole from the south of India. Huma. Ladies and gentlemen, at the Prabha Khaitan Foundation, keeping in mind our dedicated promotion of cross-cultural state unity, we encourage the appreciation of the rich heritage that exists across the nation, which is why we have chosen the traditional Ponna dye to felicitate our guests. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you goodbye till we meet again. Do pick up a complimentary copy of a book by Maz, personally autographed by him, before you leave. And thank you. मुझे किसी ने ताली नहीं बांधी। Thank you. इरशाद, आप उनको माइक दीजिए, ये तो बिना सुने मैं नहीं जा सकती।
तेरे माथे का ये आंचल बहुत ही खूब है, लेकिन
क्या बात?
तेरे माथे का ये आंचल बहुत ही खूब है, लेकिन अगर तू इसे परचम बना लेती तो और भी अच्छा।
क्या बात है हुमा, आप मजाक।
तेरे माथे पे ये आंचल बहुत ही खूब है, लेकिन तू इस आंचल से एक परचम बना लेती तो अच्छा था।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। मेरा मैज को मजाज कहना फिर एक तरह से मेरे लिए फायदेमंद रहा।